What's going on, Internet? You're listening to the NerdEXP podcast. I'm Christopher Peterson, and I have the pleasure of hanging out with Guillermo.
I'm here.
Edgar.
Hello.
It's not a very good catchphrase. We need to work on that. And Drew.
Hello.
That's Edgar's catchphrase! That's even worse!
I thought it might be better for me. Just testing it out.
If you're a returning listener, thanks. If it's your first time, you're in for a treat. We're going to go through this week's top entertainment headlines, touch on TV, comics, movies, games, and then topic of the week, we're going to do a full spoiler review of Guardians of the Galaxy. There will be plenty of spoiler warnings, don't worry. The point of all this, to start a conversation and help you level up your nerd IQ. Kicking us off with TV, we have School of Rock is going to have a new TV show. I believe this is going to air on Nickelodeon. I think Guillermo put this on the docket, so what else you got for us?
So, out of, I would say, success of School of Rock, which I thought, that was a great movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly when it was out. They decided to pick it up as a TV show. This is going to be a partnership between Paramount, the original studio, and Nickelodeon. And this is actually the first time that Paramount is backing a TV show and making a TV show. So this is like the big studios, and this kind of preempts the next thing that we're going to jump into.
Whoa, spoilers.
I know. So the next thing that we're going to be jumping into, which is the whole Big Bang Theory contract deal, that now each star, they held out, and then now each one of them is going to get paid $1 million per episode. I know, $1 million per episode. Friends, on their final season, we're making $1 million per episode. These guys have 2 more seasons to go.
Wow.
School of Rock, real quick, came out. I just looked it up. I didn't know this. Came out
2001?
3.
Wow.
The fact that they're making a movie now, I think it's actually better than if they made it like 2004. Like they were like, oh, this movie made a bunch of money, let's make a movie. The fact that they waited, that means that hopefully they have a good concept, they have a good idea around it, so that's more hopeful than a knee-jerk reaction.
So, and then the cool thing about, I guess, rewinding, on School of Rock, same characters is going to follow, like, the storyline of what is left after the events of School of Rock, the first one. So, they definitely cannot bring any of the original kids back, because all the kids are now...
iCarly.
Yeah, exactly. iCarly was one of the originals. So they're not going to bring any of those. Maybe for cameos they'll bring them. But they have good producers. One of the guys who I thought was actually Scott Rubin. No, it's Scott Rudin. And he's a theater guy, big guy for musicals. And he's the one behind this. So this is, I think, Nickelodeon's attempt also at, Disney has had recently successes with, with soundtracks. And Nickelodeon has had it at a reduced... I guess success with like the iCarlys and the Victorias with Victoria Justice. No, but all of what has happened is all of those artists for Nickelodeon have gone outside of the Nickelodeon family, and then they became famous or they were successful in music. So I think this is something like I think the way I imagine it is going to be like Glee. Like every week we get exposed to one cool hard rock, classic rock song. So I think that's what it's going to be every week. You get introduced to a new band or a new concept. It's going to be pretty cool. I mean, I'm completely behind it.
I'm not going to watch it, but I'm glad it's getting made for you because you sound pretty excited about it.
I'm not going to watch it. I don't really care about School of Rock.
I hope I get to watch it.
I mean, why?
When it's on Amazon Prime, I'll watch it.
Okay. So, and it leads, like I said, led into the next one. And something I've mentioned on that one is that Paramount making the jump into TV. Is the big money now being made on TV? Is it like a quick buck that it's easy to make?
I guess it's a down economy for Hollywood too. I mean, Halle Berry's doing TV shows now. Like almost all the big name movie actors.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I guess I don't know. Like,
so how many episodes does Big Bang Theory have?
22 or 24 seasons.
Dang, that's a lot.
So that's 24 mil.
I'm okay with it. Like for these actors, for this show, for how big it is, how like #1 rated show, scripted show on. I want to say on air, online, on air. They deserve a cut of the take. This is season, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, whatever.
I think it's like 6.
So, it's more than that.
There's a total of 9 seasons there, right?
Show started in 2007.
It's been around.
So they've had 186 episodes so far.
Wow.
I mean, they put in their time. I'm okay with them getting a nice fat paycheck at this point.
Do you think now that what I'm not seeing is none of those guys are jumping into the big screen, for movies or any big roles? I mean, the only thing that I can think of is Jim Parsons that had, a small little role in the Muppets. So no one's really making the jump. But what we are seeing, like you said, is the big name stars making the jump over to TV, and it kind of leads, I guess. Go ahead.
For that, I don't feel like it's your big name stars. You're not going to see Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts.
Not yet.
Maybe Julia Roberts, but it's your mid tier. It's your C-listers. It's your people who their names, but their star isn't as high. Like maybe they've made some bad decisions and they need to research their career with a nice drama piece or prove that they are willing to act again.
I don't know. I beg to differ. I mean, you got the Kevin Spaceys of the world, and I don't think that's a...
Well, Kevin Spacey's different because Kevin Spacey is like not on network TV. It's like on Netflix. I feel like it's a little bit different.
You had McConaughey, and when he took on that role, it was he was already popular. He was, and I would say he was an A-list actor.
He's no Brad Pitt.
He wanted the drama though, and I know he had other drama movies that come out around that same time. But I think he wanted to prove acting chops, and this was not a Matthew McConaughey. Sahara, Fool's Gold. Thank you. Yeah. That's exactly the one I was thinking of.
Flight of the Phoenix.
So failure to launch Matthew McConaughey. This was something different. So I think that's why actors go to television, to prove something unique.
Yeah, I mean that's case in point. Halle Berry. Like, when's the last time Halle Berry was in a good movie?
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
It wasn't good because of her though.
Yeah, I mean, and other TV like shows. Like Christian Slater is on there all the time. Like his star feels so bad now, and I mean it's tough for actors out there. I guess. I mean, if your name isn't Tom Hanks, you're screwed.
That's where the '90s actors are going.
Yeah, '90s actors exactly. Should they get paid this much? I agree with Chris. They should. Jim Parsons has won numerous Emmys. The show has won, has garnered viewers, like eyeballs to CBS. So good for them. I hope. I personally have never seen an episode of Bing Bang, but why not? The friends of our time. Let them get paid.
Drew?
Well, I was just going to say, if both parties agreed to it, then who am I to say whether or not it's okay?
CBS was put in a difficult position. They said, all right, we're not filming. They delayed the start of the film because the big actors held out. And there was actually, I think, 2 actors or actresses who signed their contract, and now they're like, oh, crap. We could have gotten all this other much more money because they signed early, out of good faith, thinking that the network was going to take care of them.
Blossom.
And I know part of our credo here is that we don't talk about rumors and anything, but this kind of if it goes the way that we're reading the rumors right now about True Detective, it kind of leads into this that the big money is actually in the TV and the cable TV shows now. Because, I mean, the actors that are rumored to be in this True Detective Season 2, they're pretty big names.
Who are the names?
So, Colin Farrell, Vince Vaughn. And then you got 2, what I would call then C-level actors, but not by their quality, but just by their renown, which is Taylor Kitsch and
Elizabeth Moss.
So they're pretty big names in as I see it. They've been in stuff. It's not like like most TV shows maybe 5-6 years ago where they were just going for the guy who nobody knows and then they grow into the movie star.
Yeah.
It seems now it's like you're the TV guy, grow into the movie star, and then come back to TV, or the other way around. You start in movies and then you get a TV show.
I agree. You love True Detective. What do you think about any of this?
I personally like Elizabeth Moss. She was very good on Mad Men. Peggy is one of my favorite characters on Mad Men. Taylor Kitsch, we spoke about in our group text. I knew very little about Taylor Kitsch. Whatever, however you pronounce it. Colin Farrell's okay, I guess. Like, I've never seen him in anything too good.
Oh, come on. In Saving Mr. Banks?
But fine.
Thank you, Edgar. I appreciate you proving my point. Like, all those actors, like, they are good. They have skill. They have ability. But they're not necessarily where they want to be in their careers, or, maybe they're making a left turn. Vince Vaughn, huge star, huge comedian. He's not going to get a drama role in Hollywood. Right. If he gets this knocks out of the park, he might be able to pull Robin Williams or Jim Carrey and break free from his mold. So I think that's why you go to TV, to take those acting gigs.
Rumor has it is that Vince Vaughn might be the bad guy in this series. So
True Detective is like the Avengers, like just rounding up all the misfits and let's see what happens. Yeah, for one season, let's see what happens.
I guarantee you those guys aren't getting paid $1 million an episode, though.
I don't know, not on HBO, probably not. I mean, I think they're doing it for the work. They're doing it for the exposure.
Yeah, I mean, TV actors don't get paid very much. I remember when January Jones was filming Mad Men, she was complaining about how little she got paid.
I'm sure I wouldn't mind. I would sleep with John Hamm for however much she was getting paid. Also, we have English Office spinoff / sequel, Life on the Road. Who put this on the docket, Drew?
That was me.
So what's this about?
Well, for anyone who's seen the English Office, that's British Office.
Which you have.
Picture you!
Thanks, Chris. The series ended with the boss, the Michael Scott of the British one, who's I believe is named David Brent. He ends up getting fired, and
damn it, Drew! Spoiler alert, man!
Well, whatever. Sorry,
whatever.
It's like a decade now. So, but he ends up leaving to fulfill his dreams of becoming a rock star. But and if you watch the show, he's no good, and he's very awkward and everything. Like almost harder to watch than Steve Carell.
Okay.
So.
That's tough.
But yeah, so this show is chronicling his life on the road, as it's titled, of him trying to become a famous rock star, basically. And he's just so awkward in his own world. He's, from what I read, viewing it as like.
Sorry, it's funny the voice cracks.
I lost my train of thought.
Okay, so he's on the road. It's this dude, like, it's him. How many years after The Office ended?
I didn't say.
Right after, probably.
Is it right after? Or like,
it might be. Probably not too long after, not 12 years as it's been, or however many years.
Do you guys see this show as being
It's not a show, it's a movie.
Oh, so it's a movie?
Yeah.
Why is this in the TV show category?
Because it's based off of a TV show. But, I mean, it might be a TV movie. It's a BBC film, so I don't know if it's going to be a theatrical release or a TV movie, but it's just a movie.
So it's short-lived. And then even if it would have been a TV show, I don't think they could have dragged more than 10 episodes out of something like this.
But, I mean, they are rumoring cameos of other cast members, which includes Martin Freeman.
Ooh.
And
that's Bilbo Baggins. I mean, he's huge now. Martin Freeman is huge.
Sherlock and Hobbit, and what's the guy's name? Mackenzie Crook, who's the one-eyed pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean.
He was in Game of Thrones.
I guess so.
He was one of the wildlings.
I assume that, if you're a fan of British Office, UK Office, you'll be a fan of the
Ricky
show.
Gervais.
So, I mean, it's a good follow-up.
I like Ricky Gervais. I don't follow his show on Netflix, but I did like the Ricky Gervais show on HBO where they it's similar to us, like us talking like podcasts, but it's animated. Mm. And then I like Ricky Gervais and Louis C.K.
Gervais show,
right?
And I like Extras as well.
Extras I've seen
funny.
Every show minus the animated podcast one.
It's funny,
and I think they're all great.
They make fun of their friend.
Extras is one of my favorite shows of all time.
Wow.
The finale made me cry.
Wow.
It's really good. Really well written.
That wasn't a BBC show, was it?
Mm-hmm. It was, but it was in America, aired on HBO.
Okay.
So it's not available on Netflix.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that out.
So for gaming news this week, see a huge resurgence in iOS games. We have Roller Coaster Tycoon 4, Crazy Taxi, and Micromon.
All right.
So Micromon is a complete Pokemon Digimon ripoff that was
homage is the way I want to
inspired,
ripoff.
heavily inspired.
Absolutely.
It's getting well reviewed. It's getting well liked.
It's number one game paid download right now on iTunes, or I guess it is the
App Store,
iTunes Store, App Store.
App Store.
Okay, so it's the number one.
99 cents.
99 cents. It's the whole deal is 99 cents to play. You can play it for the 99 cents as much as you want, but you can buy extra stuff by putting more money in it. So it's an in-app purchase video game. I looked at a couple of videos. I haven't downloaded it myself. I looked at a couple of videos online of the gameplay because I wasn't convinced. I thought it was maybe a fluke that somebody just... A lot of these companies, and this is something I read, is to launch an iOS game, part of their startup budget is to have, like they put it for 99 cents for the first week, so they have $10,000 set aside just so they can buy 10,000 copies of this thing. So that they get it, they get a reputation built.
No kidding, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so a lot of apps, part of their startup budget is buying their own app. And that's why, most of these apps, or a lot of these popular apps, you see them with a low ticket price at the beginning because all they want is to just get more and more hits, and usually it's coming from the company. So this Micromon, I wanted to see a little bit of video. Watch a couple of things, watch the battle scenes and whatnot. It looks pretty legit, and this is the cry to Nintendo again. Nintendo should be on this market. It is a perfect market. Everybody has a phone in their pocket. I mean, create a Game Boy app, and then within the Game Boy app, you can download the Game Boy in-app purchases. This to me it's the market right now, and basically it's a market that it's very easy to keep updating and patching.
Yeah,
it's convenient. Whenever there's a new app, a patch or a new version, I never say, "Oh man, this is going to be a struggle trying to get the new." No, it's always just hit install and it's done. And it's usually small updates, small memory updates, so it doesn't take too long to update. So that's always cool.
Square Enix sells Final Fantasy games through the App Store, and they are expensive. They're like $7.99, $14.99
per episode.
For Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, maybe not 4. 1, 2, 3 are available.
They have original iOS ones as well, or at least one, and that's one they sell per episode.
Okay.
I forget what it's called, like not Chronicles of Legends, something weird like that.
So Nintendo can definitely enter this space and not, Mario's 99 cents. They can charge a premium and people will pay for it.
Yeah.
Or they can be real bastards and go the Amazon route and you download it on your phone, but you pay for it through this third-party site and cut iTunes and Apple out completely.
Yeah.
I agree with Cameron. Nintendo's losing money. I mean, if Pokemon only existed, these Micromon sales would not have...
The earnings for the quarter came out again, and Nintendo had to again apologize to every single investor on Nintendo, saying, we're not going to meet our numbers. We're actually going to be lower than forecasted. And they're already forecasting a loss. So Nintendo needs something quick now. Just seeing this resurgence of classic games. I mean, Crazy Taxi, a couple, maybe a year, 2 years ago, Sega issued, pretty much gave out all their licenses, and we had a Sonic game and Crazy Taxi being one of their big franchises. Mm-hmm. They redid this. They didn't even redo the game. They just kind of put it out there because iOS and the devices that we now use are just as powerful as a Nintendo 64, if not a little bit better. So the graphics, they didn't have to do too much to it. They just had to mess with the controls. Yeah. And it was the same exact game, same exact feel. Pretty cool game, entertaining. I played the crap out of it while I was traveling and flying. Perfect game to just play for hours and hours and hours. And then this week, or I guess they released the not the same version, but they actually a new game, a new Crazy Taxi, new universe. You can go pick. If you link it to your Facebook account, you can pick up your friends from Facebook.
Oh, that's lame.
And I think that's pretty cool. The social aspect.
I don't like that.
There's a good fun twist to it. I mean,
I can't wait till you play this on the Oculus.
That's right. So that was a cool thing about it. And then
something I wanted to bring up was
Sure.
Micromon. You have to purchase like diamonds or whatever bullshit, right? Pokemon X right now is $40, right?
yeah.
What's the stigma behind it? I wanted to bring you guys up up for discussion. Like, why? Like, what's the stigma for paying like a freemium game where you pay $20 to get like the best the Micromon? Like, what's the stigma behind it? Because we go buy games for like $60.
It's usually quality for me. I think
Like, what? Why?
the expected quality.
Because it's not $20. Like, if you wanted the best things, you pay constantly. They keep creating new outlets. Like,
Right.
oh, we had Tier 4 Micromon. Now we have Tier 5. Now we have Tier
Right.
6. The goal of these systems is to make it so that you will always give them money. Like, if they build a
Like an
system...
MMORPG.
Exactly. Like, if they build a system where it's like, hey, you can buy these 3 levels.
Mm-hmm.
You bought 3 levels and you're done. That's not as lucrative as creating a constant churning system
Right.
where you're paying money. And that's what the stigma is. $40, whole game, done. You could sink $60 into Micromon and still only have, I'm making this up, like half of them.
But as long as it's entertaining and they keep adding value into it, I think people are still going to pay it. I mean, look at the World of Warcraft.
Dude, I spend a lot of money on Call of Duty maps. Maps are like $13 and you get 4 maps, and I still paid full price for the game, and I'm paying for 4 maps, and it happens 4 times a year. So I spent way more money than I wanted to on those effing maps.
I agree with you. Like, I play Clash of Clans on my phone for like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon. I've never given them a penny. I never will. So they've given me entertainment for free. But there are whales out there who drop $100, $200.
Yes.
And
Those
so,
are
like...
the ones that come and knock your castle down.
So, I mean, if you don't like the game, just don't play it. You don't have to hate on it. And, like...
Right.
But I think that's why they hate on it. So...
I'm just looking at Micromon versus Pokemon. It's not going to be convincing enough, I don't think, for Nintendo to make some sort of mobile Pokemon, because Pokemon, their franchise, is their best-selling one. They top the charts for months in Japan. They do very well in the United States.
I cannot believe that this app is still on the App Store right
Neither.
now. I mean, you open it up and the description it says it's like Pokemon and Digimon together. Like, that's
Really?
the official description of this game. So, really? I mean, and what was it? It wasn't
Birds?
Pokemon trainers.
It's Pokemon Tamers.
Tamers.
You
It's-
tame these.
It's
Pokemon.
Micromons.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Micromon Tamers.
Tamer, and then you capture them on cards.
On
like SD
microchips.
cards.
Yeah, on chips instead of...
I'm not going to play this game.
It just sounds like a silly Chinese bootleg,
Rip-off.
you know? Like, who would actually want to play
if I
that?
was the 10-year-old who has my iPad or has my iPod Touch, I absolutely would be playing this game. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if I had the time right now. I mean, going back to this Google...
It looks like a Pokemon. That looks like Gecko Green Starter from one of them.
Absolutely. So that's, I guess, something that I wanted to bring up. iOS,
Maybe from, like, a financial standpoint, it would be smart for Nintendo to get involved in mobile. But, like, my artistic side wants to see Nintendo hold their ground and not get involved, because it just seems so cheap. And
Listen,
I'd
they
like to see
made,
them, even if they go out, I'd like to see them go out that way, like, not trying.
There's no reason why Nintendo eShop games can't be played on your phone, like even just like Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, and charge the same amount. People would pay $5 to play Super Mario Brothers on their phone.
I would love that.
make it a way so
There's no way you can
the
control
only way... Yeah, all right.
Super Mario Brothers.
Well, listen to this, though. Make it a way, like, the only way to play the Nintendo app is to buy this $50 controller that's a case where you fit your phone in that, you know, feels like a controller or a remote, and that's how you play your Nintendo game. So it turns it into a Game Boy. Nintendo still has what their pride is which is how the game interacts with a person. That's what Nintendo's name is. Nintendo's money has never, or their mentality has never been on the games, is the interaction with the game. Make it like that. I mean, Nintendo, if you're listening out there, I'm tired of giving you free ideas week by week after week. Every time Nintendo comes up, I think in every podcast we had one idea to bail them out. Listen, Nintendo. Listen.
No, you're right. Nintendo's a toy company. They're not a video game company. They just happen to be making video games at this moment in time.
Yeah, I mean, I would pay up to like $10.
Dude, I would pay $100
to play Super Mario RPG on my iPad, like right now. I would love that.
Yeah, I would pay $100 for an extra controller that allows me to play then download and pay for more Nintendo games. Absolutely would do it. Absolutely
Not
would do
me.
it.
You already
Nintendo
did.
family.
You already did. It's called a gamepad.
The Wii U controller.
Which I rarely use.
Yeah. And you also won't be using your gamepad to play Assassin's Creed this year.
Darn.
Assassin's Creed Unity is coming out for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. But then they're coming out with a second game, Assassin's Creed Rogue, for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, PC, and that kind of generation.
For the plebeians.
I think this is great. I love this idea. Not because I need to play 2 Assassin's Creeds. I won't. I'll probably play Unity if either. But when they develop a game cross-gen, one always suffers. They either build it for the last gen and just up-res it to 4, or they build it for the PS4 and like hack features out and dumb it down and just give it a crappy by splitting the teams up and each one's making its own separate game. This is the ideal situation. So you still get that huge install base, but also moving the product forward.
It'd be cool if you get more out of at least the story or something by playing both. You know, there's some sort of connection.
Oh, Drew, they're playing that angle.
Okay.
In Assassin's Creed Unity, it's set in the French Revolution. That's the next gen version. And then Rogue is set in America, but it's during the French Revolution and like this 7-year war. So apparently, like maybe your guy will send supplies to your other guy and help out. So they do exist in the same time frame.
It's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe video games
like
now.
Watching Iron Man 2 and seeing that footage.
Whoops.
Also announced today was they are going to do a Resident Evil remake for all consoles. PS3, Xbox 360,
Even
next
the
gen.
Wii U?
Nope.
Wii U.
Oh, too bad. Wait, I want
Resident
Wii U too. Shoot.
I mean, this kind
not hurt.
This kind of surprises me. And, you know, talk about financials. Capcom's been taking on the chin as well. So another Japanese company. I don't know if there's any coincidence there. Sony's losing money constantly. PlayStation's a good brand, but Sony and the company is tanking. So I don't know, you know, world market's going on. I feel like this is Capcom reaching for more money. Like, hey, you guys remember Resident Evil when it was cool? We're remaking it again.
That's a way to just keep your brand and keep people interested, and you're going to bring new gamers to this. Oh, I remember my big brother playing this game. Let's buy it again, and you know, so it keeps the generations going.
Yeah,
no shame in that. I
It's
enjoy
going to be going on for a long time.
Oh yeah,
This general remake, remaster sort of thing.
Oh, I agree.
Listen to our, what was it, 2 weeks ago or last week?
a couple weeks ago we talked about what games we'd like to be remastered or remade.
And that listening question was from I am Bill McNeil. I was in the show notes. And his remake that he wanted was Resident Evil 2. So close, but still so far away.
Which one is the GameCube one? Is that 4?
Yes.
Resident Evil 4?
Yes, Resident Evil 4.
So
I never played a Resident Evil game. Like, not even for a second.
I tried the second one. I played for a little bit. Not my
what was
kind of
the
thing.
Veronica?
Code Veronica.
Code Veronica's not the one I
I
played.
saw all the movies.
So,
yeah.
Those were good.
Pre-Resident Evil 4, so including this one if they don't change it, part of the game was scary because your character moved like a tank. Like, you could either move or shoot.
What?
Like, you can't do both. Like, it's not Call of Duty. Like, you know, and like there would be bad camera angles, so that way stuff could jump out at you and whatnot. It was a survival horror game. Like Resident Evil 4 Plus became an action adventure game. Your character could run around, knife 12 zombies in a row, and just do whatever you wanted. So this is kind of a return to form, which is what fans have been asking for.
That'll be pretty nice.
Moving on to movie news, what nobody asked for was seeing the alternative ending for Amazing Spider-Man 2. This is Amazing Spider-Man 2 spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, if you're sensitive to spoilers, check the show notes and we'll tell you when the next segment starts.
Yeah, either that or just don't. I mean, it's not real. It's not in the movie.
It still impacts the movie.
Sure.
So,
or just don't see the movie. If you haven't.
If we save you like 2 hours.
Yeah, I reviewed Amazing Spider-Man 2 more favorably than I should. Like, looking back upon it, the more I think about it, I let my Spider-Man bias get in the way.
And so did I. I think both of us were favorable.
Like, I wouldn't destroy the movie now, but it's... I think I gave it an 8.5 on my written review. It's more like a 6.5, 7.
It's a 5.
Like,
It just reaches in so many places.
I'm like trying to think whether that movie's even worth purchasing.
It's not. Like, I saw it once. It was pretty, and I'm done. But anyway, sorry, the
Alternate
ending. In the scene after Gwen Stacy dies, hence the reason I said spoilers, Peter Parker's crying, he's upset, he's sad. And then freaking Richard Parker comes out of nowhere and says, "Hey, just letting you know I'm alive. I was hiding because Oscorp's really bad. I thought I was going to change the world, but I'm not, but you are, Peter."
This upsets Peter.
Peter gets upset, but then he ends up hugging and they end up being best friends.
They sit on a bench and talk.
Maybe so the dad's been watching him repeat it this whole time, right?
Okay.
Right.
Maybe he left the
Presumably.
coins in the calculator for him to throw, and then he finds the coins to that abandoned thing, and then that's where he finds it. There you go. That's the
I
perfect.
think the coins maybe it was a thing to trigger, call them up, you put the coin in a little coin system and automatic call goes out to Peter Parker's dad.
Maybe.
And says, "Oh, by the way, this guy's worth of your time, so reappear." Again, to me, it seems with so much that was wrong with this movie and so many characters, so many plots, so many things that just kind of touch on and absolutely goes nowhere with it. This would have been an even bigger disaster, and especially going into the Spider-Man world in anthology and in comic kosher-ness. Has Richard Parker ever been alive with Peter Parker at the same time?
Once.
And
But he ended up being a clone.
Oh.
So it was all a trick.
Oh, well, that would have been
Not
what
impossible.
this was going to.
A clone wouldn't know he's a clone, would he?
I saw this documentary called Sixth Day. No. Would not know he was a clone. Spoilers for Sixth Day. I agree with Guillermo completely. He's spot on. The last thing this movie needed was another plot device, another character, something else
I'm
to go and work
surprised that they're
around.
releasing it. What are they doing with it?
Well, they're
I
not.
don't-
They keep pulling it. They keep pulling it. I don't know. I think it was a leak.
Yeah, but every single leak, it looks like it's playing from a video player. Amazing Spider-Man has already been released in some countries. The majority of them being Spanish-speaking countries, and that's why half the videos are in freaking Spanish. So it's definitely going to be in the disc, or at least in the international versions, it's definitely in the disc itself, the Blu-ray disc. Why? If I'm a studio and I'm already hearing the reviews and dealing with this, I still have some executive decision to make. What makes the cut and whatnot. Why would you put that on there?
Special features, people like it. I don't know. At the end of the day, they can always say, we cut it from the film. See, sometimes we make good cuts. Don't yell at us.
So I wonder if we're ever going to see the Mary Jane scenes.
I don't know.
There were definitely, she was on that project for a month or so shooting.
I saw set photos.
There's set photos, pictures. There's, I think, an interview that they did for MTV on set with the new stars, and she was part of it. So, are they going to release that? I think, overall, maybe just keep Spider-Man in the news and create buzz for the movie that comes out next week. Or it comes out today. Came out today. We could be answering
It came
this
out
question.
today?
Yeah, I think The Amazing Spider-Man came out today. We could be answering this question right now.
Well, we're not buying it, so...
Yeah, I'm not going to buy that.
Listeners, if any of you guys didn't listen to us, go ahead and get it. Let us know.
So, also kind of spinning out of Spider-Man, Sony has announced that they are going to do a female spin-off Spider-Man hero movie. So freaking vague. So freaking vague. Almost we shouldn't even talk about this. Such rumor.
When all else fails, create some buzz otherwise.
But it has to be Black Cat, right? I mean, like, who else is in their stable?
She was in the movie, wasn't she?
There was a character named Felicia in the movie, and her name is Felicia Hardy, but she's not even credited as Felicia Hardy.
Oh, really?
So they didn't commit to that actress and that character being Black Cat. But yes, that is the heavily hinted at.
She wore black.
Bothers me. Yes, this bothers me. A week ago, you had the biggest stage to commit to something, which was Comic-Con. Yet, you don't commit with something like this. This means the buzz that they created with Comic-Con by saying, we're going to make the Sinister Six movie, there's another Spider-Man movie in the way. Oh crap, that didn't generate enough buzz. Let's pull something out of a hat. We got a week of brainstorming. What can we do? That's what I'm getting out of this. Disney, Marvel, if you're listening, cut that contract in half and take Spider-Man back. This is not in good hands.
Any thoughts, Edgar?
I don't know any other female Spider-Man other than like Mary Jane.
Spider-Woman?
Spider-Woman,
I don't know
guess.
if she counts. I think she's an Avenger, technically.
I know, like Felicia Hardy and like maybe Madam Web. I don't know. Like I'm just pulling that out of my ass too.
Firestar was created on Amazing Spider-Man, the cartoon series. So I mean, it could be her. Silver Sable. I mean, these are definitely huge characters.
Reaching.
I can't even say I've heard of Spider-Woman. I guess I always assumed there was a Spider-Woman, but I don't know any of these characters.
Man, Guillermo, you are on point today.
Yeah.
Like, this is so wishy-washy. Like, them saying, like, hey, we are going to make a character with a female later. A week after Comic-Con, it's so uncommitted. They did have a large stage. They had a large presence. You know, they could say that, oh, we were worried about it being swamped under the news. There's so much stuff that came out. It was worth mentioning there. Them doing this now is kind of a knee-jerk reaction. Yeah. Or they just didn't have enough time in the docket. Just like Kevin Feige had the balls to say about a Black Widow movie.
That's a company that knows what the hell they're doing. It's like, I don't have it in my schedule. Maybe later?
And people get upset about this, and this was a bad PR move. He shouldn't have said this from a, like, you know, keeping everything kosher, keeping stuff alive. Now people are like, oh, you don't have time for female heroes?
Well, he didn't say, I don't have time for female heroes. He said, it doesn't fit in his agenda.
Right.
Maybe later.
But if you look at, and this can be a chicken and egg argument, but, you know, at the end of the day, Black Widow has a comic, Wonder Woman has a comic, other female characters have had single issues or spin-off characters, Witchblade, I mean, there's a lot of independents. If you look at Diamond Comics' best-selling list, it's Batman, Wolverine, X-Men, Justice League. Like, it is all these heroes who do have movies coming out. I don't feel like Marvel or DC or anybody is being malicious. Nobody's going out and saying, like, we hate women, we refuse to make a film with a female lead. I think they're looking at their install base of comics readers, and they're kind of looking at, like, how that can transcribe to movie sales. And, you know, Black Widow's, I'm making this up, a number 76 seller. That's not going to be their priority over Hulk, which is selling at 12, to make another movie for.
Right. I mean, comics, in its core, it's about men, like young guys or like young men, like coming up in the world. You know, like everyone knows that you have to graduate one day from like kids' tales to comics, and then you get into like graphic novels. So it's like it's a rite of passage for guys. You know, like that's something that I think it's. I mean, comics are meant for guys, right?
My thought is
the views expressed in this podcast
are expressed by Edgar. My opinion is Superman, Batman, those guys. Like, I agree with you in the sense of, like, it was created by men, so that created the foundation, and that foundation has stood the test of time. So people recognize those names. Those characters were created by white males in the 1930s and 40s and 50s. And those are the popular characters. New characters that come out in the 90s and the O's and the 80s, they don't last. It doesn't matter what race, sexual orientation, sex they are. They just don't have the same staying power as those original characters.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we have so many white male characters, because they were created and they kind of have that pedigree in history, not because of like your theory that comics are for boys.
Brings an actually pretty good point. So part of the going back to Comic-Con, and you guys know that I like Kevin Smith. I listen to his podcast. Last week's podcast that he published for his Smodcast, his weekly upload was the whole entire the Musk of Tusk chat that he had at the Comic-Con Panel H. And there's this part of the session that 9-year, or I think it's like a 9 or a 12-year-old girl comes up to the microphone and asks him, "Are you ever going to make a movie that I can watch?"
Wow.
No, all of his movies are rated R and like
right,
dick jokes and
perfect, right? And then he says, "Absolutely, I am. My next movie, Yoga Hosers, it's going to be. I'm shooting for that PG-13 rating. It's going to be a movie with a female lead, 2 female leads, and it's going to be a movie about girl power and girls kicking ass because of that same thing." And I think he even mentions, he's like, right now there are, you're seeing all the Marvels and all this other stuff, and if you're a girl, you have to deal. The only place that you can look for is Disney princesses, and that's it. Those are your heroes. So it goes along to that there is popularity and there is a demand for it. I think right now, you put any movie with a female superhero character, I'll go see it. I don't think there'll be, or if I don't see it, it's not going to be because it's a female, it's a female lead actors or, lead character.
Catwoman was terrible. Like, Catwoman was driven by Halle Berry. Like, that's a female.
Right, but that movie was terrible because it got reviewed terribly. I don't think it was because it was a Catwoman movie.
I mean, Wonder Woman's never made it off the ground. Like, TV show or movie.
But it hasn't been because of the character. I don't think it has been.
I mean, Black Widow was a great character in Captain America: Winter Soldier. She was, I know Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans had very comedic performances, but Black Widow had the 3rd most screen time out of all the characters in Avengers. And she had a good role there. Gamora was not just a love interest. There are female characters, and I know we're 4 guys, so I'm talking about females in the media. But that's only because our wives are at home cooking and barefoot where they belong. But I mean, I don't think that necessarily validates our opinion. And I agree with Guillermo. If they did a Black Widow solo movie, I would go see it.
I would see it.
I'd be more interested in seeing a Wonder Woman solo movie than I would a freaking, Plastic Man or Animal Man or trying to think of some of these other guys who are Doom Patrol. So, I think it comes to the property. And it's just an unfortunate reality that there aren't a lot of female heroes in the source material to draw from. Popular ones.
Exactly, and I think it comes to proven, like you said, it's always the 76th most best-selling comic. So a company who's got a winning formula, Marvel, right now, they're not going to put their money on something that's not proven. They're going in it and kind of going after that, all the Easter eggs of the movies revealed, of the, I guess phase 1, phase 2 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And those, over half of those are an inclination to the Civil War storyline of the comics. That to me was the most interesting part. And the Civil War, I read 2 comics in between, and it was just in between the storyline. I did not, and because of it, I was like, I don't want to read it because it looks like a really cool storyline. I want to wait until they make a movie about it. I'm really excited to see where that's going.
A lot of people are. There's a lot of buzz. That's the fan favorite for Avengers 3, which is going to be Thanos now at this point, but maybe Avengers 4. Personally, I never want to see it. But,
really?
Yeah. Moving on. Good thing we have a level 2 projectionist in the room.
Projector operator.
I've heard it both ways. So what happened at select Regal theaters?
Drew, answer for your sins.
This past Thursday night, excuse me, for the Guardians of the Galaxy premiere, there were a couple theaters nationwide that accidentally began showing Rise of the Guardians, which was the animated movie from a couple years ago with Santa Claus, Easter Bunny, all that, Jack Frost.
Now, when this story broke, I think we were all kind of like, how the hell could this happen?
Right.
But then you told us.
Exactly. And I mean, I honestly didn't think of this myself. I read it in an article. I think one of the theaters in Virginia responded to the news that what happened was the Regal Cinemas has a summer film festival they call the Regal Summer Movie Express now, where they play every Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday. Some of them do all 3 days at 10 a.m. Yeah, it's $1 now. It used to be free, like it had sponsors and all that, but now they charge $1, and you get to see. They play older movies. Sometimes now with digital projectors, they're getting more recent movies. Rise of the Guardians. They even had Lego Movie this year, which I thought was crazy.
What?
Yeah.
And you mean I could have gone during the day?
Mm-hmm.
And saved
But
$8?
anyway. So what on the digital projectors, when you get the file, you don't load it on the projector. That you have to make a playlist. You put all the different components, all the trailers, the roller coaster at the beginning, all that stuff. You put it together and you label that. And what these projectionists did was label the feature Guardians.
Fools.
So I don't know if they labeled both, just one, or what. So
they overwrote the file.
when they set it to play, they set Guardians, and not realizing that it was Rise of the Guardians. and I think it was this theater in Virginia that actually did it twice. Even in the second show, the second show they played was Rise of the Guardians again, and people were like they didn't get to see Guardians of the Galaxy until almost an hour had passed.
An hour?
Yeah.
Why? But there's an explanation for that, right? It takes a while to load the movie.
Yeah, it's not if it's not already there, you have to ingest and send through
download
a server.
The movie.
Yeah, and it can take a couple hours depending on the movie and how much you already have on that projector and all that. So.
As someone who's
that's what happened.
As someone who's forgotten to attach a file on an email, I'm going to say this is an honest mistake.
Yeah,
like this happens.
And Regal gave out free passes to all of them. You know, that's what they do.
At what point in the movie that Rise of the Guardians starts playing? At what point are you like? I think this is a mistake. Yeah. This trailer's really long. I want to be in that situation.
I can tell you right now, every movie I ever made a playlist for, I put the entire title.
Well, you're a professional.
Every word.
Share with the viewers your mistake.
Well, do I have to?
Story.
2007. This was before my theater had digital projectors, so we were just playing film, and I read my schedule off of a piece of paper. We printed our paper a few days prior to this day, and were not made aware that there was a theater swap.
Got it, excuses.
So this is a Monday morning, Martin Luther King Day. We're understaffed. It's really busy. I'm going around starting movies. I get a call on my walkie-talkie like, Drew, you started the wrong movie in Auditorium 19. And I looked at my schedule. I was like, no, I didn't. It's the right movie. And they're like, no, it's not. So what happened was, on my schedule, it was supposed to be Open Season, which was the animated movie. Ashton Kutcher did the voice. And, it ended up that I started The Departed. Yeah. And I know there's some curse words in the first few minutes.
Yes,
Jack Nicholson.
It's Open Season for real.
So, and we actually had a customer jump over the customer service counter because there was no manager present when he came out, and he went into the box office, which is totally illegal. But we didn't do anything about it because that was a major mistake on our part. And he was like, they're saying shit and fuck, and my daughter's in there. He was flipping out, and so we had to give out over 100 passes that day.
Wait a second. So there's a law in the books that it's illegal to go into the box.
Well, that's all the money's there.
He jumped over a counter, man. It's
basically broke and entered.
Maybe the daughter should have seen the best picture that year. Why is he being so picky? That was the best movie that year.
Yeah, I mean that's why it was in theaters in January. It was re-released for the awards season.
I mean, what do? I mean, you got your young kid ready to see the kids movie, There's no way.
Let him watch it,
What's
man.
amazing-
It's the
I
best
mean-
picture.
I understand most people wouldn't notice this, but when you're sitting through the trailers and they're not trailers geared towards children, you should start asking some questions. But they didn't get up until the actual movie started, and so many people just continue to sit there.
It's like,
So,
I guess it comes out
just
of
covering
this.
their kids' ears. I don't know. Yeah, so that was bad.
It starts with an N-word, like.
And this wasn't something
30 seconds in.
I could stop, pause, start another movie. This was a film playing through, so that took maybe 30 minutes at least to get the next movie on. The right movie.
Drew, I'm glad you still have that job.
Yeah, my manager laughed about it.
Oh, that's funny.
All right. This week in trailers, we got Into the Woods. Does anybody care?
I saw that for the first time.
No
in
idea
front
what
of
this
Guardians
is.
of the Galaxy. I didn't know it
Played in
existed.
front of Guardians.
Oh,
that's
this is
where I
the Disney movie.
Yeah, this is the Disney movie.
Disney musical.
Outstanding. I'm so excited about this.
Apparently it's a play. I didn't know it was a play by
I had no
whoever
idea what this
whoever
was,
created
or that this
Wicked.
was coming out.
It's the people who created Wicked?
Yeah,
Man, this is going to be huge.
It's going to be great.
the people who produced.
Is it coming
Wicked.
out this year, right?
Yeah.
November.
This-
November, I think, is it? Yeah, I think
with
that's,
holiday season.
Man, you guys complete 180 from the beginning of this
Right.
kickoff.
that's what it was. But let's make it short and sweet. Again, these big movies, or what potentially could be a great big movie, 3 months before, or 3 or 4 months before the buzz, first trailer, first time I ever heard this movie, unless I'm, I don't know where I've been living, but
First time I've heard of it.
right? I mean, so
I've been reading bits and pieces the past few months because Meryl Streep is cast in this movie, so I'm like, yeah, musical, Disney.
pretty cool. I think that's the overall consensus here. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's directed by Rob Marshall. He directed Chicago,
Yeah.
which is the last musical that won.
Once
Best
upon a
Picture.
time on the big screen.
That's what I thought.
They want Frozen again. That's what.
Except
that's
well
what I
done.
see.
Except
So.
well done. The next one that we have here is the Interstellar trailer.
Oh, Drew, did you cry?
I did not cry. no.
Damn. Maybe next one.
What we thought about, alright, and you guys let me know. It does reveal different things, but the whole big buzz after the Comic-Con with the comments that, this actually had a whole different plot line. I didn't get that from the trailer.
It didn't live up to the word
hype.
out of Comic Con.
Yeah. It's still outstanding, and I
You get to
watched
see
it.
some Martian landscape in it. That's cool.
I got to watch it in the XD, movie theater with the big screen and the 3D. It was a 3D trailer.
The movie's not going to be released in 3D. I can tell you that.
You think so?
It's not.
They made the trailer in 3D.
Christopher Nolan. They do that for any movie.
Do
It
they?
was outstanding.
Because there's a time when they tell you to put on your glasses.
Yeah, it was in that section.
So
First
they
trailer.
have
I'm not seeing this being released in 3D.
So I thought they
Christopher
had.
Nolan has avoided that. I mean,
Yeah.
it could change, but
It looked great, and actually something that I think will be a wasted opportunity if they don't do it. Gravity, some of the most memorable things about Gravity for me was seeing it in 3D and how cool that thing looked. Some of the most memorable scenes about Avatar was at the beginning when they are.
those were both filmed in 3D, and the director had that in mind. Christopher Nolan would not be thinking about that.
True.
He's openly spoke out against it.
Okay.
You guys,
The
Chris.
studio may overpower him in the case of it being released in 3D, but I don't think he would have had it in mind while filming.
Not Nolan. He's too big of a name.
Yeah.
You guys criticized A Million Ways to Die in the West for being spoilers because of the DeLorean.
Yeah.
What do you think about Interstellar being spoilers, showing like his grown-up daughter like crying and all sad in a bunch of scenes and stuff?
They didn't say that was his grown-up daughter, man.
Oh yeah,
They're both redheads, and they both in the cornfield.
I didn't get that.
So I mean, like you're gonna,
You didn't get
so you're gonna see like her be sad on Earth while he's like
She's aged and he hasn't.
spoilers. Sorry, Guillermo.
What? So this whole trailer just went over my head.
Yeah.
Wow. You got the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was avoiding it online. Like, I already knew I was going to see this movie. I didn't need to see any more footage. But
Definitely.
it wasn't anything I was going to walk out of a theater to miss.
Definitely
So-
worth it. Just another great follow-up to this movie. Again, looking forward
I
to
hope
I hope.
major mass audiences feel the same way.
it. Yeah, it's creating buzz.
Star Wars Rebels, terrible transition there. But anyway, Star Wars Rebels is
space.
that would have been so easy.
Talking about the rebellious Matthew McConaughey.
Star Wars Rebels released 7 minutes of footage.
The first 7 minutes of the entire series is what they're saying, or was it?
Was that really the first 7 minutes?
Was it? I thought that's what the way they marketed it.
I can imagine that.
It's early on. I mean, they're
introduces-
first meeting each other, so the kid is first meeting the rebel group.
Ezra.
Sorry.
Ezra Bridgemaker or whatever. I don't know his name.
I can't
Bridger.
remember.
I saw it 7 minutes. Basically, Aladdin is stealing from a bunch of people. Ends up meeting a Jedi, bargain basement Chewbacca, and a female Mandalorian, and they're going to become best friends. And I don't know. I have no interest in seeing this. I'm not the target audience. This is kids. I wish like we could see some Empire soldiers who believe in the Empire and they want to be good, and they're like, oh, the Empire is protecting people. The world's safer because of America, because we go in and we bring democracy to everybody.
Yeah.
But no, they're bullies. They're just like, you're not going to stop us. We're going to steal whatever we want. Ha 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 ha. So
this was so boring. Throughout the podcast, I'm very enthusiastic about this. I invested money already in merchandise from this movie. I have a hat that says Star Wars Rebels and everything.
Oh boy!
I was so bored. I was like, the dialogue seems so dry. The action is like
Slow. It was
very slow.
Even on speeder bikes, they're going
That's right.
10 miles an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah, it just, I have already seen some footage, and that footage, I guess it's like the continuation of where this leaves off. So it looks like. I was more excited about that. It played a lot better than this whole 7-minute sequence. I was lost. I was unmotivated. Star Wars and music, and I think at one point in the whole 7 minutes, there was a snippet of music, and it was that, and that was it.
copyright infringement. Like you can't do that well.
It's not in that octave, so we're good.
I like the sound of the speeders. Like that was pretty cool. Like that harkened back to the moon of Endor.
Did the kid say like I've got a feeling? Like,
Hope not.
Like he almost said like I've got a bad feeling about this, but it was slightly different. I don't know.
And I'm not gonna go rewatch it. I'll give this premiere a shot whenever it does premiere. What the heck is taking so long for this thing to premiere? What are they sitting on?
Fall season? I mean, I think they're just waiting for...
I guess they're creating all this buzz. I mean, I've been hearing about it for a while. It seems to me an animated series. A kid is not waiting until the fall to get to see a season.
Yeah.
I think it would work out better if it was in the summer. I mean, all the kids are out.
Does this guy have a slingshot? As a
Force.
No, I'm not gonna watch this. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, he
a
has
force slingshot? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
That's stupid. I'm lost. I don't care.
Part of his jacket, apparently.
It's because he has 700 midichlorians
No,
in his
they
arms.
do not represent
He's referencing the midichlorians again.
Oh my god, barf. barf, barf. Did they talk on women's Gillette like razors as well, like in the episode?
Man, that was an obtuse reference.
Oh god, barf. I'm never gonna see this.
Looks like they had the comm link that C-3PO holds in A New Hope.
Right. For topic of the week, we're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy. So we're going to try and keep it spoiler free. We'll tell you in spoilers. If we completely fall apart, just check the show notes real quick if you're really sensitive about it. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, just round table real quick. Did you like it?
Loved it.
Yes, it was great.
I love this movie. My favorite.
Your favorite Marvel movie?
Over Iron Man. I have said it. I have said it.
Buddy.
Chris?
My favorite cinematic.
You like Chris talk,
No,
man.
it's fine. I talk a lot. I wrote a review. You can catch that. Paraphrase. Funniest Marvel movie to date. Most visually impressive. This is top 3. Like Avengers, Captain America, Guardians. I love them all. Avengers is still my favorite. Maybe that's just like bias. Captain America, I think, is the best told story, but this is definitely the funniest and the funnest to watch.
This is why I got to that conclusion. And before, my best favorite, I think I had said, is Iron Man.
Iron Man's good.
And that's what I did. I was trying to come up was that really my favorite? I looked at all right, well, let's compare apples to apples. I'm going to compare the first Thor, the first Captain America, first Iron Man, and then that's where Guardians of the Galaxy come into play. For a kickoff story, outstanding. I had my doubts in the acting. I think I had mentioned a couple weeks ago that the preview that I saw of it completely changed my mind about Chris Pratt. This movie, because of Chris Pratt, I think made me enjoy this movie so much more. What a kid! What a guy! Out of nowhere, I think for me, it looks like he was a well-hidden gem in Parks and Recreation. But this guy's a lead character, lead guy, charismatic, very cool for that character. And, he got surrounded with very good people. Dax, Bautista playing Dax, outstanding to me.
A wrestler has no business being that good.
Yeah.
He's supposed to just sit there and be muscles.
Freaking good, man. He was so
he
good.
Has the charisma. I didn't see that coming.
Right? I mean, he was so good. Usually, we've seen these crossovers of people. I mean, and I can't think of any of them right now. But
I don't know. Universal Soldier has Goldberg and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Right. Watch Predator from the '80s.
The Expendables.
I mean, these guys are just there to look impressive.
This guy, outstanding. I mean, wow, so good. Probably one of the most, the character that I want to find out even more. It's probably him. His dialogue, I thought I wanted to see way more dialogue out of this guy, because everything that came out of his dialogue was just so great.
I cared about every one of these characters, and I felt like I was watching Shaun of the Dead or something, because they made so much it was real funny. I find Shaun of the Dead so funny because I've never seen someone saying something stupid, or something funny, and that's the Guardians of the Galaxy, the scene where they're all just talking to each other. That was hilarious because they were all just making fun of each other.
Yeah. I missed a lot of dialogue.
Oh,
because people laugh. And I was fine with it because I think it was mostly quick lines or another punchline or another joke on top of the one that you already heard.
Yeah.
But definitely was missing.
It's been a while since I seen a movie and I was completely okay watching it again the next day. I didn't get to, but mentally I was I can't wait to see this again as soon as it came out. So, by all means, just a great movie. Great incorporation of soundtrack. I keep talking about the soundtracks of this movie. Such a good use of this soundtrack. At times, maybe I felt there was way too many songs back to back.
That's fine though. Kill Bill does that all the time.
But they did it very well, and they didn't use the song for no reason. So that was pretty cool to me.
Sure.
This movie, what I think I like most, rather, is that it doesn't rely on the Marvel Cinematic Universe at all.
Yes.
It's a standalone movie.
Yeah, it's very standalone. I mean, and of course they did that just in case, but and it's. I can't think of any connection other than Thanos, but that's more just because we know Thanos is going to be involved. I think.
Sorry, Drew. I made the connection to it being Shaun of the Dead wrong. It's like Pineapple Express for me. Pineapple Express is a laugh out loud movie. It has a lot of quotable lines. I can't quote one thing out of Thor 2: Dark World.
Right.
Exactly. I found this movie so funny. Like Pineapple Express funny.
It's very quotable.
Agree with everything you guys are saying. Negative, just real quick before we go into spoilers.
Let's go for negative. What can you find wrong with this movie?
Empty villains. The villains, they look cool. I don't blame the actors. They do a good job with the lines that they're given. But they are meaningless and shallow. I mean, I want to destroy the galaxy. That's his whole motivation. No idea why, no backstory. For as much love and attention as the Guardians are given, their rivals are given none. Like, they just exist. They exist to be defeated.
True, no offense, but they're like the putties in like Power Rangers.
None taken.
So
None
stupid.
taken.
Like,
Is that true for every... And I thought about this because I read your review and I was like, how can I talk about that? It's wrong. Every first Marvel movie has had weak villains.
I think almost every Marvel movie has had weak villains. I did like Redford in Winter Soldier. Spoiler, he's the villain. You can watch the trailer and figure it out. And then I like Tom Hiddleston as Loki, but he's still weak. Like, his motivations, he's still a whining crybaby.
he wants to conquer Earth for some reason. Like, he wants them all to...
Like, he doesn't really mean anything. So I think all the Marvel villains have been weak.
I agree.
Obadiah Stane is, I guess, I don't know. Like,
He's the reason Iron Man. He's the reason
Whiplash
Iron Man
was
wasn't my
stupid as
favorite.
hell. Like, the Mickey Rourke character was stupid. The third one
And
was
that's
the
so
Mandarin.
sad. Mickey Rourke is awesome. And that was a very major waste of him.
Yes.
Agreed.
Iron Man 3 had his post-traumatic stress disorder attacking him, and then, like, and then Guy Pearce. I don't even remember Guy Pearce's name. Like, what's his name in Iron Man 3? See?
Son of a...
See? The Mandarin, I guess, was
He
his
works for
fall
AIM.
guy. But that's it.
Yeah, Mandarin was the best villain, and it turned out he wasn't even the villain. So
Like,
The guy was the Mandarin.
like Thor was Loki. Thor 2 was
Dark Elf.
Elves. I don't know. Like, that's
Oh my, yeah, poor Chris Eccleston. That's your guys'
yeah, from the leftovers.
from Doctor Who. But you said you're gonna counterpoint me.
Well,
The Red Skull, I guess, because he was Nazi-ish.
Well, that was it. I thought this follows suit with every other Marvel movie. So I don't find it wrong. I think it's just typical.
Yeah,
Captain
But I
America.
mean-
Maybe that's something DC has over Marvel is
Yes.
more in-depth villains.
Yeah, but they didn't do it with this.
not Man of Steel.
Not Man of
That's
Steel.
true.
Was
Very
awful.
true, yeah, you're right.
Golly, that was terrible.
Maybe Lex Luthor. I mean, Lex Luthor at least, like...
Superman's never had really great villains outside of Lex Luthor, right?
Comic book Lex Luthor, not movie Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Right, because all Lex Luthor wants in the movies is real estate. He wants to blow up California in the original Superman to make California island, and then Superman Returns, he wants to make Krypton on Earth to have land, like buy land. Like, I don't get it.
That's right.
He's an evil
He's
monopoly.
creating
guy.
his own land.
Yeah.
Creating his own land, so he, the ice caps melt.
I guess Winter Soldier is the best one. Like the villains, because it's hidden, like it's deep in there. Like it's a villain that comes out of
That was
nowhere.
the smartest movie. But like you said, the best told story.
And then Ronan the Accuser, we knew little of. Like he emerges from goo. Sorry.
To me, this whole deal with when I was listening to the trailers and watching it, Nebula was going to be the baddest villain. For the beginning of the movie, I thought Ronan Barbarian was just going to be
Ronan the Barbarian. It's Ronan the Accuser, buddy.
Close enough. I thought he was going to be kind of like a backstory to the whole thing, and I thought Nebula was going to be doing the dirty work. I thought the Nebula character was wasted completely.
Sure. Before we get into that, anything else bad, or are we going to do full spoilers at this point?
I disagree with Guillermo about Chris Pratt being as amazing as Guillermo says.
You are a fool!
I know. Well, I love Chris Pratt, and
You knew
I
about
loved
this
him in
guy
Parks and
before,
Rec
yeah.
before. But I feel like he didn't have quite the intensity as I would have wanted. There were parts where he was just I felt like he was just kind of standing there watching.
He was his character in Lego Movie. Like he was just like a
Emmett?
like Emmett, and like he was just on his way, like stumbling and bumbling everywhere. That's fine though. I mean, heroes can't all be Superman.
I think he was in for. I mean, I haven't read
I
Guardians.
liked him. I just don't hold him to as high a praise
You
as
thought
you.
there were other people who overpower his performance?
Yeah.
If I had not known, for me it was kind of like a discovery about this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So by all means, much higher. But I do agree that, and then somebody touched on it, that everybody else kind of, helped each other out. There was no person that I can say was a terrible
Rocket Raccoon was my favorite. I think he stole the show.
Absolutely.
Chris Pratt was as good in this movie as Harrison Ford was in Star Wars.
As Harrison Ford was in Indiana Jones. That goes on record. If there's going to be an Indiana Jones movie being made, James Gunn needs to jump on that thing. If anybody is going to get that movie right, this guy. I have not seen anything else by him. But
I've seen Chris Pratt in a lot of stuff. Like I watched Everwood. I was a stupid teenager. I've seen
OC. He was in the OC.
I saw the OC. I saw Parks and Rec. I did not expect him to slim down, get those abs. Kid had to work out and deliver the performance. Maybe it wasn't him behind the mask, like during the action sequences, but like I feel like he did everything. He was charismatic. He was funny. He delivered a big speech. He could be charming. I mean, he didn't. He was a great leading man. Like he pulled this movie off.
Yeah.
So full spoilers. Which side are you guys? Spoiler warning.
This is spoiler warning. Now we can talk about this. Coolest thing about this movie is how, and part of the reason why I want to rewatch it is how much stuff you can miss in this movie. Definitely the ending. Let's interpret the ending. Let's start there. The last scene, or I guess the after-credit sequence that they show on this. Tons of things to see, but the obvious one, Howard the Duck making an appearance on this.
I'm surprised they're bringing them back because
they're not.
This is a one-time thing.
It's a one-time thing.
Okay.
Here's how I interpreted that. I was like, the way I interpreted that is Disney really telling Marvel, we own the universe. We can play with anybody. Look at everybody that we can pull in this movie. We're so cool. We're so good that we're bringing Howard the Duck, and that Howard the Duck. It's a not a very renowned character, but amongst like geeks, everybody knows. If you know George Lucas, you know about Howard the Duck. That was his biggest failure.
Yes.
If you're a comic book reader,
whoa! What about the prequels?
His biggest commercial failure.
Those $1 billion.
All right, sorry, fine. Artistic failure then.
I don't think so. As hard as people are on the prequels, they're not that bad.
I looked up Howard the Duck.
He didn't direct.
He didn't. He was
just produced it.
But he was the backer behind it.
It was Lucasfilm.
We're forgetting Red Tails. As far as Lucas,
and then Crystal
I still think it did financially better than Howard the Duck.
Yes.
I looked up Howard the Duck, and there was a movie made in the 80s. It had Leah Thomas in it, or whatever, Leah Thompson.
And Caroline in the City.
That movie was so bad that like the actors couldn't find jobs afterwards. Like that's how
they got one now.
Yeah, they get. I'm surprised they brought him in.
Outstanding to me. This is like my interpretation at that scene was.
Howard the Duck is actually the first Marvel film ever as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
First Marvel character to get a feature film.
Wow.
Now that we're in spoilers, Thanos. Brolin did an amazing job. I like the voice. I like they did a good job.
Brolin.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job with the dialogue, and I enjoyed it. But he was a cartoon villain. He was Krang sitting in behind, sending his henchmen out to do his dirty work for him, and then yelling at them for failing.
Get off the damn throne, man! Seriously,
this made him less intimidating. And the fact that they actually had Ronan stand up to him and be like, "I don't need you. I got the stone."
And this guy just stays there and does nothing.
And Nebula's like, "I'm going to betray my father. Yeah, he tortured me forever, but I'm okay. Like, if you'll kill him, I'm on your side. And even though I've seen him my whole life, I believe that you can kill him." So it undermined his entire credibility as a big bad villain, which Thanos is. But
when he gets out of the chair, we're all going to be like, "Holy shit!" I see it.
Exactly.
He's just going to be like,
"He's done pooping." Boom.
This is. He was in his throne the whole time.
Yeah, he like the thing is that he was never. I mean, we've seen 10 seconds of him or whatever, but he's not angry. Like when they piss him off, it's going to be. They're gonna have hell to pay.
He stole the stone from him. I would think he'd
be
mad about that.
He didn't look angry. He's like, I'll get it. He's just like, I'll get it back. Or I know what's gonna happen.
I think he's way smarter than everybody else. Mm-hmm. He's sending his guys to fail, and the good guys are collecting all the stones for him and putting them in this known place that he knows where every single stone is. That's the way I see it.
Speaking of which, the Collector in the comic books is a Thanos minion.
Oh,
At
really?
the end of Thor 2, they go, here is an Infinity Stone. I'm like, well, that was a bad
Do they know? I mean,
I don't know if they know.
Do you think this is the last time that we'll see the Collector?
No.
No?
They show him in the Stinger.
Yeah,
like, he's still around. He's still going to be
Benicio del
floating around.
Toro.
Okay, fair enough.
Much better here
I wanted
than
to
the
see
Stinger.
more of him. I was upset that he was in it for so little.
Yeah, I thought he would have had a bigger role. But that scene in that city that they go, what was it?
Nowhere.
Nowhere, the city of nowhere,
With a K.
or the what was it?
It was the head of a
the head of the
celestial. A celestial. These are super beings that can do anything. They don't need the stones to do it, but they embody elements such as time and space and power and knowledge and things like that.
That was very cool planet, but that the whole time they're in that area, that was so cool.
When they got drunk and they started fighting,
Yes.
and then Rocket admitted, and I thought that was great.
CGI character, so much emotion
Yeah,
coming out of this pint-sized little character. That was pretty cool.
I liked that about him.
I didn't cry, but man, I got really sad when Groot said, "We are Groot," and I was like, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
I was like, he's gonna die, and I knew he came back in the comics. I was like, I wonder if they're just gonna kill him, just say this is our loss.
Which brings me to which I didn't want to say it in the pre-spoilers. The one thing that I found wrong or that I disliked, the ending sequence with Groot dancing to the Jackson 5, I Want You Back.
That was cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
But why?
Everybody-
Why?
'cause it was cute.
You didn't need
It
to
was
go cute
adorable.
in this movie.
And
You
what
didn't go- need
I
to
didn't
go
like, I
cute.
mean, but I liked that they killed him off, and they kind of stuck with it. And I knew he would come back, but I wish they had held it until the next movie
Okay.
or the next Guardians.
That
movie.
he just saved the stick.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the movie end with Rocket Raccoon just holding the stick.
How did
I thought
Rocket
that
know
was
which
great.
stick to grab?
That's right. I was thinking all right.
He knows everything about it.
So will there be million Groots now? Because all
That's
the
right.
different
What
sticks-
happened? Is he gonna come back and now there's Planet Groot?
His consciousness is just in the one.
Is he gonna remember everything?
I read the director said, or maybe it was Kevin Feige, I don't remember, in
He's
an
the
interview
director.
talking about the dancing Groot scene, that their original plan was to have it mid-credits, but the test audiences loved it so much they moved it up to the very end of the movie instead.
That makes sense, because I was surprised they didn't do the latest mid-credit singer and post, that
Yeah.
they did just a full round of credits.
That was. I mean, that was my only. I wish it didn't happen, but I guess mixed reactions. And did you guys know? So, out of this dancing little baby Groot or whatever, Etsy, a crafts website,
Already?
already created it, and they were selling it for $50 each. And they didn't dance; it was just a statuette, made out of a mold, sold out.
Marvel didn't put a stop to it? They didn't
No. It's a creative thing. I mean, they didn't license it. They didn't sell it like Come By Groot. It was like Dancing Tree Stick or something.
They took a page out of Micro.
What do you guys think was in the present? In the present that Star-Lord got from his mom?
The mix also mix
What did
number 2.
you knew? I said, what did you think? Not what was in it.
I didn't even think about it.
I honestly thought it was another tape.
Yes.
When he revealed that his mom gave him the first tape, I was like, okay, so that's what.
No, I didn't find out until he opened either his girlfriend or who was it? Gamora, I think it's the one who opens the drawer and then there
No,
it
that was
is.
Rocket. Rocket was looking for something.
Yes.
Or
Like he
Rocket.
wanted him to put it in a box. He's like, what about this box?
That's right. So at that point when he held it, that's when I got a perspective of what it was. The present looked a lot bigger when it got put in his backpack. He was
He was a kid.
right, so we get it. But until then, did I think cassette tape?
Can we talk about Star-Lord's dad and how the mom...
No.
Star-Lord?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't
No.
want to talk about that.
Drew doesn't want to know, and even though this is a Guardians of the Galaxy spoiler cast, if our fans want to look it up, they can look it up.
It's revealed in the movie. We'll say just from the movie that he is not of Earth. So
Well, he's half.
that his mom's not crazy. That she wasn't just like this delusional woman dying on her bed. She
Right.
did, in fact,
talking about him from the stars or whatever. Something.
Made with
like
Well,
Away
she
from the
called him
stars.
the little Star-Lord.
which is why I thought that present.
Did I just get it? I think I just figured out who it is.
I thought the present was going to be a picture of his dad.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought it was something like that.
I thought that's what it was this whole time. She's like, you're going to find your dad, and then she hands him the present. I thought it was going to be a picture of him. But
I cannot wait for part 2 to tell me that what the Awesome Mix Volume 2 is.
But it being Awesome Mix Volume 2 was great. I was very happy with that, and I thought that was good.
I would give it an A minus. Like I thought it was a great movie. Minus.
Anything else? Anything else you guys loved? Or
9.5 out of 10.
What did you guys think of the beginning? Were you moved by the opening sequence?
I was.
That was pretty crazy.
I got goosebumps.
And something I expected.
I choked up. Yeah, I didn't see it coming at all.
Something I want to add to you three guys who did not see it in 3D. Outstanding. Confirmed that I wanted to see this movie in 3D. Absolutely. If you go rewatch it, go give 3D a chance.
Okay.
So well done in this movie, even though it was not shot in 3D.
The director did
Something
say
that James Gunn did say is,
though.
he said, well, he doesn't say that. He said that he believes in the technology and he believes that filming in 3D is not the right way. The technology is already ahead of filming in 3D, so he just lets the studio. And I don't think at any point in the movie you see a scene where something's popping at you there's no cheap 3D in this movie, but it's so visually stunning. So many scenes that are made for 3D, they just look so good. Again, confirmed that this movie looks outstanding in 3D, and I think after this movie I'm a little bit more open to seeing other movies in 3D.
We're not allowed to.
Why?
Drew says no. Drew won't let us.
We were close on this one. If it would have been time, I think we would have.
This is a movie where I'll go see it again.
Yeah.
It was real funny.
And Guillermo's point about wanting to see it again soon, like Teenage Mutant Turtles is going to be the next big release. Whatever, we'll talk about how crappy that is next week. But I kind of I want to squeeze it into the IMAX before. This is such a big movie. We saw it on a big screen, but I want to see this on the biggest screen possible. And I know if I don't see it tomorrow,
what's everybody doing Saturday?
My window, if it's still playing anywhere.
What
are you talking
Guardians?
about? Yeah, playing somewhere big. I mean,
I'm sure it's gonna do.
TMNT's a big, large format release. So
too. I mean, that's
all these theaters that have just one screen. They only last 1 week sometimes, especially during the summer.
Michael Bay, damn it.
Yeah,
ruining their stuff.
Man, I mean, we talked about so much great stuff about this movie, and we still didn't even really talk about Gamora or racket scenes or even
is Yondu.
He was Merle Dixon right out of Walking Dead.
He was.
Walking Dead Merle Dixon.
So this guy's in Walking Dead?
Yes.
Yeah.
He plays the exact same character, only he's blue.
Wow.
Yeah.
How cool was that character? To me, that was such cool.
He's not racist.
He's also in James Gunn's first 2 films.
And it's also such such a good blend in this movie. You got this guy who's very country, but he's in space. It's so polarizing. To me, that was
I'm happy they didn't eat him.
That was a whole joke. Man. Spoilers.
This is the spoiler
section.
Damn it! Not on Walking Dead.
And plus, no.
Oh, okay.
He always
in the movie, he's always holding it over his head that we should have eaten you,
I like the whole pirate ship.
How
thing they
cool was his weapon though?
Oh my god, that was awesome.
It was good. Yeah.
I don't know why I sit there and think of movies and I get ahead of myself. And I know he had the bar of red on himself.
Yeah.
But I kind of half expected Star-Lord to be so clever that he was going to whistle and flip that arrow on him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that'd be so badass. But he didn't do that.
I thought that was going to happen as well.
That arrow was pretty cool.
It was cool, but it was kind of slow. I was like, come on. There's 40 of you. One of you, the last one it hit, you didn't think about shooting him.
Such a cool ending. The fight sequence at the end, not because of the villains, but just because of the reaction of what the good guys do to make the villains look insignificant. So cool. Rocket on his own in a spaceship.
Yeah.
I was like, this is Star Fox. I was like, man, this is so cool. This is Star Fox.
Yeah.
The first image they released of him, I got Star Fox. I was like,
yeah. I mean, he's in the ship. It looks just like the what was it called? The Star Fox ship.
R-Wing.
Is it the R-Wing?
AR.
Okay.
Wing.
He's right.
All right. So I was like, wow, this is so cool. And then when all the other ships from
Nova.
Nova Corps.
Oh gosh, that was so cool.
That was so cool.
Like seeing the net.
Yeah, that was pretty tense though. I mean, because I honestly didn't know if the ship was going to make it to the ground or not.
And every character in this movie felt flushed out. Like even like the one random Nova Corps guy who dies, who Rocket, like he still acted his heart out, even though he was in there for 3 minutes. He felt like a full character in another movie. What's his name?
John C. Reilly?
Yes, thank you. I was going to call him Michael.
Is he going to be a big
No.
next?
I mean, he might be another comedic, but I don't think he's going to join the team. And
I think he has a bigger role that we just don't see it yet.
so this is comic spoilers, and I am willing to throw this on you guys. I like what they did with Nova Corps here, because typically the Nova Corps is almost like Green Lantern. Like they put on a helmet, they can fly through space and shoot out energy blasts and like full on comic book craziness shenanigans. But here they were just kind of space police, and I think that was a better take for this world,
like
this
a UN
universe.
security force or something.
So I thought it was a good change.
Okay, I guess to conclude it, this was the movie that was a simple movie with a bunch of losers. The most, it's a movie out of all the characters that even though it's in space, it felt the most real and the movie that anyone and a lot of people can relate to because they had such a range of characters. It's the most honest movie, the most real movie, even though it's the farthest away from being in a real world. So.
I thought Bradley Cooper did a great job as Rocket Raccoon. The scene where they're all sitting down and where they all stood up, and he's like, "Okay, fine, you got me to stand up now." Like that was real funny. Like
we're all here standing in a circle.
Like every single character was good.
I feel like I've laughed during this conversation even when nothing funny was said because I'm remembering funny lines.
Yes.
Like Amazing Spider-Man, Guillermo and I realized that we made a mistake on. And I
was if that would have been middle of the summer, we would have been completely I think different.
But I feel like Guardians, and I know I'm only a week away. I feel like I actually like it more the more time I get away from it, and the more I think about it.
You gotta watch it again.
Like
man.
I would be willing to watch this a second time in theaters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think it's worth it. 3D.
What's your final word, Drew? Just one word.
I give it an A. I don't know. Sci-fi.
It was funny
adventure, space opera. It was great characters.
Worth it of being compared to Star Wars? Yes or no?
No, I don't. I honestly don't see very many Star Wars connections.
Isn't that funny?
Like, how about all right? Maybe compare is not being on the same level as the original New Hope.
No,
it's hard for me to say. Like the scale, the world destroying. Oh, remember they're like, hey, I bet this can blow up a moon. Yeah, like when Rocket was talking around his device. It made me think of that. But anyway,
there were plenty of those one-liners throughout.
I feel I enjoy this movie now more than I like this movie now as a 30-year-old adult more than I like New Hope. Comparing it to Star Wars, even though it's large and it's epic and they move around to a lot of planets and some guy's about to blow up a planet, that all feels like a backdrop for what like Guillermo was saying, a personal story. This is a story. It's a story of friendship. Like as corny and silly as that sounds, this is a story of the Guardians of the Galaxy getting together, becoming friends, and hanging out. That's not what Star Wars is about. I know they're both in space. I know we both have a lost boy, finds a second family. But that's kind of like where the parallels end. And I know that's a lot of parallels, actually. But it feels very different. The tone.
Yeah, I didn't get a Star Wars feel from it at all.
Disney movie for sure.
Oh, agree.
Yeah.
Disney movie for sure. And, something we talked about last week was the kids. This thing being geared towards kids. I see it now.
Like the TV show?
Yeah. And then toys and marketing towards kids. I see it now.
But Gamora is not a princess. She says it in the movie. I am not a princess. No Gamora Disney princess at times.
You can't trick me with your
yeah.
You can't trick me with your pelvic wizardry or something. Yeah. And they were about to kiss. Like that was really funny. And then also I'm like Kevin Bacon. That was hilarious. And then John Stamos as the rebel. I come from a tide of rebels. Like John Stamos.
Best joke for me was the metaphor.
Oh, that was funny too.
Nothing goes over my head.
Yeah, that's so literal. Yeah.
But even like best joke, it's not the funniest. It's just so quick and clever, and it comes out of nowhere in a movie that's constantly funny. When Star-Lord goes, "They got my dick message."
Yes, they got my dick message. Yes, that was the best. In the middle of the fight, it's like, "Oh, they got my dick message." That was good. I like that.
How about the shocking Jackson Pollock?
Oh my
joke.
God! Yes, like if they
I was
put a
like,
black
what
light on
the
this shit,
heck?
there would be like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's real adult. Yeah,
That was good.
yeah.
Well, thank you for listening to us quote our favorite lines of Guardians for the last half hour. Please send us your favorite lines and join the conversation by emailing us at nerdexp@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at nerdexp. You can follow Drew at the simple world is square backwards. Backwards is not included. Those are the instructions.
That guy wants more than squared backwards is getting all sorts of
And you can follow Edgar at EdgarX86.
And
Guess
you
what
can
year he was
follow
born?
me in line for the next Guardians of the Movie Galaxy.
Join our Facebook group. Rate us on iTunes. Those are all your instructions. Complete all that and we'll be very happy. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you, Drew. And thank you for listening. I hope this helps you guys with your nerd IQ. Level up, friends.